I'm always looking for ways to show my cat how much I love her. And with Fancy Feast gems, I can pamper her whenever I want with a savory gravy on top of a gourmet mousse pâté. The pyramid shape makes serving simple, so all I have to do is peel and plate to make mealtime feel extra fancy. And with 2 entrees in every pack, it's easy to turn every day into the extraordinary. Fancy Feast gems.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know, the type up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac extra value meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.
This podcast is supported by FX's English Teacher. Last year's critically acclaimed series returns to follow Evan, Gwen, and Marky as they vie for their students' divided attention. See why Cosmopolitan called its premiere season a masterclass of comedy, while Glamour raved it's the year's funniest and most heartwarming new comedy series. FX's English Teacher. All new Thursdays on FX. All episodes now streaming on Hulu.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samara Origins by The Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samara Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samara. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samara Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Tom, are you feeling the heat?
I know who's feeling the heat. Brittany Anderson's feeling the heat. Oh my God!
This is Pack Your Knives. I'm Kevin Arnovitz.
And I'm Tom Haberstroh.
Tom, 13 contestants. Interesting challenge. Both the sort of away game dessert. Chefs hate cooking dessert. And then we have the African diaspora as the inspiration for the elimination challenge. Great food tour around Portland. I am increasingly having fun on this show. I love the interstitial let's go eating food part of the show now. You know, it used to be, just get me to the competition, right? Like, I mean, I'm here for that. No, but I'm kind of increasingly loving this. So, Tom, I mean, what are your early impressions? 13 chef testants. What were you picking up early on?
Picking up that I just traded Kobe Bryant for Vlade Divac. That's what I just did. Last week, we were deliberating and haggling over a trade. I send over Dawn and Kiki in exchange for Maria and Brittany, the rights to Maria and Brittany. And it was an awful trade 1 week into that trade. So I'm not feeling great about that, Kevin. And I like the other contestants that I have on my team. I think Gabe and Gabriel, I think Gabe himself is right there in that tier just below Shota. Shota is just, he's on another level. Even though he didn't win this one, I just really think that he's separated himself from the pack. It just was an episode that I think was marked by Brittany's complete unraveling on this episode. A 2-time James Beard Award semifinalist who just seemed to completely lose herself. And we see this time from time in Top Chef, but I can't remember a time where someone came into the competition with, maybe I'm just being a credentialist here, but it really did feel like she didn't seem to know who she was as a chef, despite all the awards and the restaurants that she's opened. I think she just one of those examples that Tyler Anderson mentioned, that you can be an amazing chef, but it might take someone with a different kind of DNA or a different kind of disposition to be successful on this show.
Yeah, I have sort of a slightly different interpretation, which is I think she knows who she is as a chef. It's just not right now what the competition is looking for. And so I think that's sort of my thing. I mean, I was sort of taken aback by like, oh, I don't know who I am as a chef. It's like, you've got like 4 restaurants. They're all good, apparently. Like, you've got 2 awards. Like, don't tell anyone you don't know who you are as a chef. I think, you mentioned Tyler. I think sometimes the show demands you be a certain thing, and that's okay. Like, that's the contest, right? Conform to this. Oh, you don't cook with these flavors? Tough. You don't like cooking dessert? Tough. You're less of a technical chef? Tough. And I mean, that's what I think makes the show interesting. But, it was also, and we'll get to the, we'll get to her elimination challenge, but, and sort of her one bad decision, I think, that cost her. But, early on, we have the kind of, and I don't want to say, it's funny. No one complained about the dessert challenge. Usually that's always, inevitably, I think every single time, every season, there's a dessert challenge and it cuts to, the interview saying, I don't really cook dessert in my restaurant,
right.
and I'm not a pastry chef. But no one did that this time, but it was kind of a fun one. I like layer desserts. There were some more layery than others.
Yeah, it was there was a lot of latitude in that definition of 3 layers, I would say.
Yeah. And Brittany actually committed one of the great crimes of
This is
Top
what
Chef.
I'm saying, man. Like, she just it wasn't just the elimination challenge. This entire episode, she was stepping on rakes like she was Sideshow Bob in The Simpsons.
Right. Like, you have to make your own pasta. You have to make your own cookies. You have to make your own pie crust. You have to make, your own noodles. Right? Like, it's just kind of a staple of the show is there's no easier way to you kind of ruin your stead with the judges than getting store-bought stuff.
Did you make this cookie, Brittany?
No, it's like Pepperidge Farms made it. Like,
shout out to Norwalk, Connecticut. Yeah,
Mrs. Fields made. Oh, is that a Connecticut product?
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, Pepperidge Farm cookies in those little white sacks.
The Milanos.
That is. I mean, I'm actually a Brussels guy. I always found the Milanos a little too pastry-ish. Like, the ratio of chocolate filling to pastry, the Brussels to me has always been kind of the underrated. Also, I'm a Chessman guy. Well, I like the basic short. Well, but that's a great product.
Yeah, I like Milano. They came out with like a mint Milano a few years ago, and I'm just a sucker for that. And I'm also a sucker for anything peanut butter and chocolate, which means Avishar had the key to my heart with these Buckeyes that he made in this one.
Yeah, no, it's really great. Like, so a Buckeye is basically just a peanut butter ball dipped in chocolate, but he does it brilliantly because what he does is he takes advantage of his whole molecular gastronomy thing. So he just makes, what he does is he makes the PB a gelato, and then he gives it this crunchy layer in between. And then, like, it's dipped in sort of this, it's almost magic shell it looked like, which magic shells is a great thing. So he was able to sort of take this very fair kind of dessert, just very basic. He gives it 3 completely unusual textures, and I'm excited. I'm good. It's fun to see. He was so emotional when he won this. Quickfire, it was endearing. I'm a huge fan of Avishar. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, where do you think his prospects are long term? But all of a sudden, he sort of is right the ship.
And I was a little nervous, I got to admit, when Padma was chewing on it. Did you have that moment of like, oh shit, he just basically gave them glass?
Right, like it was just really cold. I mean, I expected the comment to be, yeah, unfortunately the center was rock solid. I could barely bite into it.
Yeah, he gave me a jawbreaker. Jesus, Avishar, right? Like that didn't happen, and it was a big surprise that Padma actually really liked it. Man, you give me any sort of peanut butter, chocolate, anything. I think I had a half-baked peanut butter chocolate half pint last night, and I just blacked out. I didn't even remember eating it. It was so good from Ben and Jerry's.
All right, so but here's a peanut butter next time you're over. So when I had this surgery over October, this sleep apnea, like tonsillitis, or not something, tonsillectomy, the whole deal, right? Like just I could not eat solid foods for 14 days. So I just decided to go on a huge Jell-O pudding parfait kick. So like every night in our house, I made a different variation of the Jell-O parfait. And so do you know the chain Friendly's?
Oh my,
that you see on
are you kidding me?
All right. So Tom, I mastered
you just opened
the
up
Friendly's The Friendly's peanut sauce.
Kevin, inject it into my veins. Inject it into my veins. The Friendly's peanut butter sauce is legendary.
I made it from scratch. I got the I went to Eric. We went to the Walmart supermarket and I got this big thing of corn syrup, and I made it from scratch. It was the best thing in our house made last year, and I made some good food last year. But the peanut butter sauce from Friendly's, it is online. You can find the recipe. You can make it, and you put that with some chocolate pudding, and I'm going to serve you. You know what? You got to come back.
Also a New England favorite, Friendly's, by the way. So we've got Pepperidge Farm and Friendly's. Shout out to Friendly's. I used to, when I was in a kid, we would always, like, after a big game or something, like, we would go to Friendly's, sit down, and I would get the peanut butter cup sundae. And that syrup, like, I can taste it right. I'm salivating right now as you're describing it because it's so good. And the idea of doing a homemade version scares me because it's like meeting your heroes. You never want to meet your heroes because if you try to do it yourself, it's never going to meet expectations. What you're telling me is that you and Eric have perfected the Friendly's homemade version of the Friendly's peanut butter sauce.
Oh, no. Eric ain't done shit. He didn't own a spatula when I met him. He ate it. I did. He taste tested, but he loved it, and he's actually, like you, a peanut butter dessert guy, and so anyway. But so I was sharp with the Buckeye. Byron had a nice showing. I think the trick to this particular quickfire is you either have to play with kind of the sour tart element, or you got to really play with texture. You got to do one of those two things to impress the judges. And Byron kind of took the sour tart, the goat cheese ice cream. I always love that sort of sourish gelato, sourish ice cream kind of thing, or even savory ice cream. He does the fig date jam, a brioche, walnuts. Like, he's got it going on. I mean, Byron's kind of been in the weeds. He's neither impressed nor bricked anything. Mm-hmm. Like, he's just kind of he's hanging around. And but it was nice to see him. And then Sarah, self-deprecating Sarah, couldn't believe it. But her cream puff does the anti-Brittany, right? Like, decides, I'm going to make pastry in 45 minutes. I'm going to dust it with matcha. I'm going to grill my strawberries. Sarah is a very good chef, Tom Haverford.
Yes, and I think she also doesn't suffer from Ketsuji-itis, I would say, is what Maria had, which is just too much going on. That plate that Maria put out, probably tasty, probably really good, but in terms of the competition of, like, make a 3-layer dessert, it seemed like she just put way too much going on there. But Sarah also just seems like the aw shucksism is just working to her favor because I feel like the judges, if they did like a blind taste test, they'd be like, whoever made this conceived of this dish and is super confident and just has everything together. And then she's just like, what? I can't believe it. I didn't even know if that was any good. And then it's like, wait, you did that? Like, Sarah is so – I love watching her compete in this because whatever kind of in her own head or just not really sure of what she's doing, the plate itself looks completely opposite of that. And those cream puffs, man, with the matcha dust, man, out of this world.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Both Maria and Kiki kind of suffered from the same consequence, which is I think Maria probably is fine if the rice froze, and it didn't freeze. So now she's got to kind of slop it together. And same thing with Kiki, right? Like, if her whipped cream is cold and there was time to get it cold, she's probably fine. I imagine Kiki's peach cobbler is
yeah,
fantastic.
But the crust they said was unpalatable.
Well, right, but she had to kind of go to the crust last minute because she needed a third layer, and she was like, oh shit, right? Like, that was kind of her oh shit moment. And so it is great. Like, I mean, therein lies sort of the real challenge of cooking, or baking rather, which is it's a chemistry experiment. You can't, when you're doing cold, you can't fake it. You're doing hot, you can just blaze something you can heat something in a skillet, in a pan in like 30 seconds, but you cannot freeze something quickly. And so when you need cold and it doesn't come and you've got to whip cream, you're just going to be left with nothing. And so unfortunately, poor Maria and poor Kiki got kind of stuck with the temperature issue. And then Brittany, of course, with her like store-bought gingerbread cookie, which is just kind of a disaster.
Yeah. What did you think of Chris's Oregon Trail mushroom creme?
Yeah, they clearly were weirded out, but actually, and then I mean, I think it was who was it who said, yeah, it was interesting. Fancy Toast.
Yeah,
Carrie.
She thought it was interesting. I think they all gave those like questionable looks, like, what, really, a mushroom crema? I don't know. I love mushrooms. I don't know how I'd feel in a sweet dish. I've never had that before, so I'd be curious to see what that tasted like. Other highlights is, Shota did a smoked whipped yogurt. He clearly, like, he hasn't bricked at all. Like, he hasn't even hit the rim on any of these. No. So, I think the highlight for me was seeing Avishar, not just the concept of the Buckeye Bomb Bomb, but just giving this week, it was really impressive to see him turn around after having, stumbling out of the block early on. So look, Sarah is a monster. So is Shota. Avishar is coming into his own, but Maria, Kiki, and Brittany just not a good showing for them.
Yeah, it's always interesting which 4 chefs or 3 chefs got left out just because they just don't have enough time. So the 2 Gabes and Nelson. By the way, okay, of the 10 desserts, which do you order?
I think Avishar's. I'm sorry. Like, if I see that on a menu, a liquid nitrogen frozen Buckeye bonbon, I'm like, go, let's go.
Yeah, no, I totally understand.
What would you go with?
Probably, and I get made fun of in this house for sort of liking in Eric's telling, it's like, oh yeah, Kevin's going to order the hibiscus ice with herbs and sorrel, and so I would probably go smoked yogurt with matcha and miso crumble. However, in my lowbrow dessert category, I do love a corner piece of brownie, a little burnt brownie. I do like that. So Jamie's burnt brownie. And also, I'm kind of fascinated by the toasted rice mousse from Dawn. That looked pretty good. So, I think, but I probably go with good old Shota just because I kind of like that weirdo miso matcha crumble.
Can we talk about his laugh? He's right up there with Brian Voltaggio's laugh. It's the most distinct. Like, he laughs at everything, and it's just a very, I think magical elves have picked up on it that he is just adorable with that thing. So Shota, for someone who I think coming in, I didn't think he might have this kind of bubbly personality. He is just, he's electric. He's great. Yeah.
So then we go on a food tour, and it's really fun. And African food in particular is just, it is so yummy. I got a chance to spend 3 weeks in Ghana. I think 2000 was, oh my God, it's been like 14 years. And you just have these beautiful, beautiful, deep, rich stews and sauces. And then you have kind of as your base, and we saw, Kiki make some fufu. You have either like a fufu or banku or gari. It's basically like, I don't want to call it like African dumpling. It's usually made from like cassava dough or corn or yam, and it's like, essentially a starchy ball or and then and what I love about African food is you use your hands, right? So you take a pinch of fufu or banku or gari and you dip it in the sauce. I started cooking when I got home with red palm oil when I got home from Africa. It's got this really nice high smoke point. It's kind of like an earthy taste. And it's great because you can use red palm oil with any kind of food, and it has that immediate kind of African flavor when you do it. It was also so much fun to watch Gregory introduce the chefs to Haitian cuisine, like introducing griot. And obviously, he is Mr. Pickles.
Yeah. Pickles, like, if you haven't had it before, I mean, every time he put pickles on a dish in his last season, it was just like, oh my God, this is amazing.
And the other thing is, so one of the interesting things about griot, which he introduced, is it's a pork dish with pickles. And the New York Times cooking section, which I love, by the way, like the New York Times recipe vault is, I mean, these are accessible recipes. Anybody can do them, but they're delicious. But one of my favorite things to do in a New York Times recipe is to read the comments, because like under griot, there was this like polite debate that got a little bit testy at times, like Haitian commenters saying, I'm sorry, griot is always fried, not baked in the oven. And it's just like one of the fun things to do is to read the New York Times recipe comments when you have sort of the well actually crowd.
Yeah.
It's just it's sort of like reading TripAdvisor bad reviews. Like I think that's kind of fun. So or like Yelp. But anyway, it was just a really fun food tour.
Hello, listener. It's producer Mays here to talk to you about Kindred. Now, close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS.
Listener, listen up. This is important, okay? I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think like, oh, that's bad. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing like weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. And it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago. And I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's DINGS. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Hello, listener. It's producer Mays here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered. With 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with a cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings.
This episode is brought to you by 20th Century Studios' new film, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, starring Golden Globe winner Jeremy Allen White and Academy Award nominee Jeremy Strong. Scott Cooper, the director of the Academy Award-winning movie Crazy Heart, brings you the story of the most pivotal chapter in the life of an icon, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Only in theaters October 24th. Get your tickets now.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
Like so many fun flavors. It is true. Like just the amalgamation of African tastes in cultures and food cultures all around the world. It's just, it's fun eating.
It was a big red flag here that Brittany could not handle the spice of the red stew. And it's one thing if you aren't drinking alcohol and you don't want to drink alcohol for these dishes or taste it. But it's another to just shy away from using spice. And that's my worry is with Brittany, where it's like she was sitting down at Akati and she was just like, oh my God, the spice, that is really spicy. And meanwhile, everyone else just seems to be having a pleasant time. And that was like, to me, it was like, big red flag here is in a dish that, or in a competition that requires you to put lots of seasoning, make sure everything's got flavor. I just kind of, this was a premonition that she was not going to excel in this particular competition. But man, yeah. Gabriel, I think it was an important moment to see Gabriel say, I'm embarrassed as a Portland chef that I've never eaten here before. And it kind of reminded me of last season in LA, All-Star season, how they went down. Was it Figueroa? What was the street?
Figueroa?
Yeah. What was the street that, Pico, right. They just decided to hit
the Jonathan Gold did beach to downtown.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, where they decided to bring the chefs to downtown restaurants that probably aren't getting Michelin star ratings, but they might be just as good tasting. So this was really cool. And so they went to Akati, which is the West African cuisine, then Yad, which is Jamaican. And I didn't catch the food. Was it a food truck, the Guyanese food?
Yeah, I think it was Guyanese. Yeah, I think it was a truck.
Yeah.
By the way, God bless food trucks in Portland. I hope we'll see a few more of them. I mean, it's now kind of par for the course that every major city has a ton of food trucks, but Portland, I think, pretty much popularized this nationally. And there's so many fun ones, and they've been doing it a long time. It was just, and also it's just a way for chefs to, who can't afford to get a commercial space. It's been one of the great trends of the last 15 years for that reason, not because it's cute or, or novelty or almost a sort of staple of hipster life. It's more just people who wouldn't otherwise be able to afford to cook can cook and serve their food to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was important to see also Kiki, how emotional she was when she was hearing the story and sitting down at the table with Gregory and understanding that, for a lot of chefs like Kiki, where it was like, I grew up people not wanting or thinking our food was good or important or relevant. And I think it is great to see Kwame and Gregory going to these places. And my favorite moment of the night was when Kwame said, I asked people, have you ever had West African cuisine? And they say no. And he says, yes, you have. And that was really cool.
Right. No, it was cool. It's really fun to eat. Now, I will say this, and we've talked about this on the show before. I feel for Brittany in this way. At a certain point in my life, as you know, I stopped tolerating really spicy food. In fact, I think it's at this point a full-on allergy. I was putting together my salmon rub the other night, which I like to do when I do the grill. It's like chili powder and dried mustard and a little cocoa and a little cinnamon and a lot of cumin. And just by having the chili powder out, my scalp started to sweat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 61 degrees in Los Angeles, and I didn't even taste anything. And so some of us, like with my Eastern European stomach, something has happened. And spice, it's not a question of, ooh, I don't like it or I'm not curious. Like, the truth is, I love spicy food. It does not like me. And I think it is tough for some people. I mean, it's not a taste thing or a curiosity thing. It is a bodily, and look, nobody knows more about this than you do, man. You popularized a national trend with your, with your hot pepper challenge.
Peppers for fun.
Look, there's a reason it's a challenge, right? And not everybody is constitutionally equipped to deal with that, just biologically. And so I do have some sympathy for Brittany. Like if you're not well conditioned in spicy food, it is tough.
Let me ask you this, because I think for Brittany, I agree with you, is that because her body does not agree, or her senses do not agree to spicy food. And there was that little exchange there where she said, I don't like spicy food, or I can't handle spicy food. And they said, well, you can handle flavor, right? There's that. Okay. Yeah. But then I want to talk to you about Chris's decision to make Haitian food without having made Haitian food before.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think a little bit is too much is made of this, I've never made it before. Like, there are spice profiles. I mean, there are braises. Like, there are ways, if you've never made Haitian food before, to honor the challenge. Like, I thought a little bit too much was placed on, I don't know how to do this. Yes, you're obviously at an advantage if you've cooked with these flavors, if you've cooked with these techniques, if you're someone who's made a griot. But the idea, because, I mean, look, we saw Shota do it. Right? Like a clove allspice sauce. Brilliant, right? Like, you're able to do the challenge. Sarah basically makes a congee, a Chinese dish, with pork floss and everything, but gives it a jerk spice gravy and pickles, right? Like, it's not all that hard to do this. You don't have to be grounded in that. Like, the spices. There's so many distinct ones. You make a roti. Every culture has its roti. Yes, roti from Trinidad is going to be a specific thing, but you can interpret it. I just, too much was made of that. It's a cop-out. Like, you can marinate your protein in a, even like Gabriel's red stew braised lamb shoulder. Right, okay. He screwed up the mashed potatoes, but they love the lamb. I mean, it seems like they really liked the braised lamb. It was just the other accompaniments. By the way, what is more 90s than like designer mashed potatoes?
I know. I cringed when I heard
like
that.
80s, really. Like, I was kind of, because he's been a really creative chef thus far, and I was just like, really?
Yeah. The goat cheese, was it goat cheese and olive oil mash? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that was the dish that Richard Blaze was like, I'm going to say what everyone wants to say. This dish is too white. It was like Gabriel. I'm worried for Gabriel. Not so much Gabe. Gabe, I think, is really great. I think he is also one of those chefs that he just knows what he's doing. He's got a great understanding of flavor. He's someone that I think when all said and done, I think he's kind of like Kevin Gillespie in this all-star season, where he's just hanging around. Mm-hmm. He's not gonna brick any shots, and then, man, he's gonna be a problem. Like, in a couple weeks, I think he's just gonna blossom.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think he's a really strong. He has that combines technical acuity with just sort of soul and holiness, and I think it's a really I think Kevin is a perfect comp there. By the way, Maria in the middle. Maria is Ms. Middle. She doesn't brick very often. I mean, I know her dessert in the quick fire kind of was a clunker just because of more. It seems more just because of the sheer size of it than anything else. Nelson is interesting too, Tom, because he's clearly a good chef. But I agree. Like, even before they even said it, I'm like, oh, look, it's a protein, with a specific kind of sauce. Yucca or plantains. There is kind of a sameness to his plates, and we haven't seen a lot of out of comfort zone. He's kind of doing the same variation or different variation of the same dish.
Right. And I think you can stay true to your home or your main influence here with Shota. You can absolutely see that you can be true to his Japanese techniques, but lend it every dish to the competition, right? The challenge. And I'm not seeing that from Nelson, the creativity of like, I'm going to do this. And he says, I'm going to do it with a twist, but there really wasn't that twist there.
Right. And I think, so that's something to watch. Byron all of a sudden is cooking good food. I think both of us were wholly unimpressed with him in the first episode. He was way down. He was kind of bottom of the barrel in terms of draft. But, the red stew marinated snapper they love. They like the cod cake a lot, which is such a kind of a classic accompaniment in a lot of Caribbean food. And so, talk about hanging around. Like, I don't see a lot of clunkers here. And Avishar, he looked like a mess in the first episode. We kind of both sensed that he rode the coattails of Shota in episode 2. Not the case. Honestly, it seemed like there were so many dishes that could have been placed in the top 3. The judges were effusive about most of the things that landed on the table. Avishar's shrimp and grits gave it a little Bengali eggplant escabeche, kind of a little bit of his story. Taro, and he all of a sudden is not looking bottom of the barrel. So, but let's talk about Dawn for a second.
Cow.
Because
what a dish.
Because, I think there was a red flag early on for both of us that time management is a key part of this game. And it doesn't matter how good you are. But, I saw it in the quick fire. Like that sort of, that rice, toasted rice mousse, really creative decision. She comes back. On one hand, braised goat is pretty pro forma. You could argue, that doesn't demonstrate the most creativity. But just like last week with the ribs, this is a chef who just executes. Like, provided it gets on the plate, she hasn't made a bad component in 3 weeks, right? It's just 2 of them happen to be missing in consecutive weeks. But the crispy roti, the goat, the green pepper sauce puree, Tom, that looked like something for you, man.
Look, I don't even like green pepper. If I get like a,
I don't think it was like green pepper, like bell pepper. I think it's more like that spicy green pepper you get as a condiment in Caribbean
right. That was
restaurants.
my fear, was that it would be like a bell pepper. A green bell pepper, I think, is one of the worst flavor profiles of all the veggies you can get.
You and me both.
It does not work. So when I saw that, I was like, ooh, I don't know. And then everybody just wanted gallons of that thing. And I love that. I love that moment on Top Chef when they're like, yeah, so how'd you think you did on this challenge? And they're very, humble, and they're like, yeah, I really think I executed well. And then you see the judges explode. Like, that fucking pepper sauce. I want the recipe, and you just kind of see this like relief, just like emote, like really just all these chefs when they hear the judges just love their dish. It's just a cool moment of they're not sure what to say. Like, should I say I really felt good about it, or should I say I could have done better? Do the Sarah route, and man, Richard Blaze, Colicchio, all the judges just seem to just absolutely love this dish.
Yeah, I also want to talk about, and that was the winning dish. I want to talk about Jamie, because I think she's someone who also didn't impress us in the draft, and all of a sudden is making really good food. And she did something really smart in terms of kind of melding her tradition with, sort of the competition request, which is to, pull from the African diaspora. She does her crispy Vietnamese snapper, right? Like, it's a dish that's delicious. It's a classic. She executes the protein. But what she does with the couscous is smart. A starch is a place where you can really highlight spices on a blank canvas, right? So, there's not a hell of a lot that is, sort of African inspired about the snapper. However, with the couscous, she just blends the spices that pay homage to the challenge. And you can do it easily because the spices will shine in a rice, in a couscous. Those are, by definition, those grains are pretty, that's blank canvas. And so she can maintain the essential Vietnamese quality of the dish and at the same time pay homage to the couscous. So it was a beautiful way to say, hey, I want to stay in my comfort zone. This is the kind of food I want to make, but I also need to pay homage and need to do it fairly. Because, what is one of the top critiques at the judges' table in any challenge is you didn't really honor the challenge. The flavors didn't, the African flavors didn't shine through, right? She was able to have her cake and eat it too. Whether that was intentional or not, I don't know, but it was it got her on the top. And that's really impressive with a protein that was essentially out of Vietnam. She was able to essentially get second or third.
Yeah, you know what? One of the coolest moments from this episode was when you saw the Akadi, the woman, just get downright giddy when she saw the couscous on the plate. She's like, "This is the couscous that I made for her earlier today," and right. Jamie just nailed it. And I was a little nervous about that dish. I don't know if it was presentation, but I was just, it didn't seem super creative, and so I was wondering if the chefs would enjoy the how true the concept was to her, and she did an amazing job. And again, there's a lot of malarkey potential here, where you might laugh at her because of her mannerisms, or her noises, I should say, but she is really talented.
Yeah, and again, I guess it should be no surprise that restaurant in Vegas. Neither of us have been there, but people love it, and it's nowhere near downtown. It has gotten a ton of attention. It is smart, affordable, homey cooking that pulls from Vietnamese tradition, but is a crowd pleaser for everybody. And all of a sudden, she's cooking really well, and. Again, it's interesting how much prejudice we come out of episode 1, right?
Yeah.
Like we really do a lot of evaluation, to say nothing of the fact that it's essentially their preseason, Tom. I mean, it's not a surprise that just because things aren't executed in episode 1, that somehow these chefs should be written off, because it just doesn't play that way. In any competition. Like, why would you ever judge a team on game 1?
First impressions are super powerful. The first impression fallacy is super hard to get rid of. And it's all we really had. We had their bios, and we had one episode, 45 minutes of evaluation to work off of. So that's why a lot of the winners of our Top Chef or Pack Your Knives draft is in the middle of the draft, whether it's Joe Flam or whether it's Melissa. These are people who we didn't see as like juggernauts after week 1. So, but man, Shota is killing it. I want to spend just a little more time on Brittany here. Just last remarks here on Brittany is, I wonder her confidence level in her cooking pre-show, and then how it kind of manifested there at the judges table, because it seemed like she melted down and lost a lot of confidence there. Do you think that's like something that she had been feeling before she went on Top Chef, or do you think she just buckled in front of the judges table, just like losing herself a little bit?
No, I think it's my interpretation was the previous week, the big loss with Sasha threw her for a loop. I mean, there was nothing in that kitchen that suggested they lacked confidence. I mean, they really thought they were doing a great job. They were doing their things. These are things they've done before. Again, this is a Mid-Atlantic semifinalist for Best Chef is no slouch. And the funny thing is I always one of the things I always say is if you nail your protein, you're okay. She actually nailed her protein. I mean, they like the pickled mackerel. The counterfactual is if she doesn't, sort of cut that sauce with coconut milk.
Yeah.
Are we having this conversation? And I think that's the big question.
I thought Kiki was going home, honestly. Given her fufu wasn't cooked well, and that was such a main part of her dish, I thought she was going to go home. I was a little bit surprised that Brittany went home, and I think maybe part of it was just her confessionals.
Oh, I see. I thought Chris was going to go home. It seemed like, okay, the main element of Kiki's dish, which was the saka, the stew, was a winner. And so it was one of those, because I thought it was a case where, at least her stew is good. At least Brittany's mackerel was good. They didn't seem to like anything on Chris's plate. I'm worried about Chris. I'll be honest with you, Tom, little confession. I had Chris very high up on my draft board. I thought, okay. And what's worrying me about this week is I was like, all right, this guy is a good technical chef. Might be some questionable choices. Oh, do you want mushrooms in a dessert? But I thought he would execute.
And he didn't. Didn't.
And he hasn't.
Just straight up burnt the plantains. Yeah.
Right. And that was the whole thing. I've never cooked Haitian before. It's just, anyone can cook plantains. But I think, and by the way, it looked like a very nicely assembled or conceived dish, right? Like an épice marinated snapper. Okay, you pay homage to the spice. Pickles, a mushroom bean puree. Now apparently the crispy rice cake wasn't executed well. The plantains weren't executed well. So that's what's worrying me about Chris, because I had him fairly high up. He seemed to me to exude a competence that said, all right, this guy's going to be around for 8 weeks.
Yeah, I would say if we did a redraft tonight, I don't think Chris is going very high. And I think for me, Brittany goes home, and we have a really exciting Last Chance Kitchen. Now, just a heads up for our listeners, we this season are going to do our best to get these out as soon as the episode drops, which means we watch this episode pre-air, and we don't get to see Last Chance Kitchen. So what we know is that Brittany goes home. She's going to go to Last Chance Kitchen to face Sasha, which will be emotional for those two going head to head. But we'll recap that on the next episode. And Brittany, I'm curious to see how she does here in Last Chance Kitchen. I would like to see some redemption here for her because, her accolades, her credentials are second to none in this competition. So I want to see how she does. I'm very curious. But in terms of my team, Kevin, I'm feeling best about Gabe. Feeling really good about him, feeling really good about Jamie. I think Byron and Maria are just diamonds in the rough right now. I feel like they're sleeper picks here. But your pickup for Dawn, she gets 10 points for you with the win. I lose 5 points from Brittany. Maria stays in the middle. Kiki in the bottom. She gets 0 points. So that trade, Dawn and Kiki, for Maria and Brittany nets me -3 this week and +10 for you. So a differential of 13 points. A 13-point swing in week 1 of a trade. Oh, it's a long season, but still, that one really hurt, Kevin.
Yeah, Tom, I just got to be honest with you. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of losing. 3 straight seasons, our first 3 seasons of Pack Your Knives, I've gotten my butt whooped. I think actually 1 year it was very close. But,
yes. Yes.
I'm just tired of losing, and I meant business this time. I'm not screwing around. I hate losing. So this pleases me. I love Dawn's cooking. It seems like the time management issues have been solved. I agree with you. I think Maria is definitely a mystery guest. Maria in the middle.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. And I agree with you. I really am impressed with Gabe. I think you have a great pick there. But at any rate, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, the score is 50-37 after 2 weeks of Pack Your Knives fantasy. Kevin, you have 50. I have 37. It's going to be close here in week 3. I'm excited. We have. I will say I really like that we have the Top Chef alumni just every week. I gotta say, Amar, I love him. He's amazing. I think he's great. He's so fun, and I just like watching him eat the food and how his reactions are so good. I really love this element that the Top Chef alumni are there every week, and just kind of the fact that like Kwame and Gregory were able to partake in that and be like their Sherpas along this journey. It was really cool. I really love this element of this season of Top Chef, and they're making the best of a really difficult situation. And just hats off to Magical Elves and the Top Chef crew.
Yeah, I like a man who licks a plate. I like a man who licks a plate. Yeah. Man after my own heart. For Tom Haberstroh, this is Kevin Arnovitz, and this is Pack Your Knives.